What's going on, everybody? It's JB here with a review of yesterday's action, and there were 3 games yesterday. England against Wales, which we'll touch on first, and then obviously a great performance from Northern Ireland in the second game, and a dire 0-0 draw between Poland and Germany. It was a dire game. I was absolutely bored watching it. It's probably one of the worst games of the tournament so far, and I'm surprised it's come when the world champions are playing, because they usually play some very good attack-minded football, positive football. All that to come later, but first of all, England against Wales, and well, but once I'm going to praise Roy Hodgson, which is quite an event, really. First of all, I'll get the criticism of the first half out the way. As well as we played and as well as we attacked, Raheem Sterling is a man out of form. I didn't think Harry Kane was given enough service, although I was surprised to see him substituted, although I did question that decision. I think we had 2 or 3 good opportunities. Sterling missed a real sitter from 6 yards when he should have scored. Husmoin had a header that went wide. Lallana was a bit ineffective, I thought. I think Sterling and Lallana, in my opinion, should have been dropped. And I think Lallana should have gone off at half time, and I would have played Sturridge and Kane as a 3-pronged attack with Jamie Vardy. We trailed to a free kick from Gareth Bale. I said in commentary at the time that Joe Hart needed to save it, and I still stick by that motion that he should have saved it. He's a world-class goalkeeper, and as well as Bale hit the free kick, and he hit it with some venom, let's be honest, he did hit it with some venom, he should have stopped it. There's no way in the world he should not. You tell me that is not savable, because I'll be honest with you, I used to goalkeep when I used to be a goalkeeper when I was younger, even though I didn't do it seriously. Even I would have known that was savable. You know, the ball went over the wall. I don't know whether he was slow to react or whatever, but it should have been screwed round the post as far as I'm concerned. Joe Hart, he'll know himself anyway. He won't need me to tell him that. It was a soft goal, great free kick from Bale, but you can't take anything away from Gareth Bale for that, but the goalkeeping, I'm afraid, was shocking. So we get a half-time 1-0 down, and I asked the question at half-time, and I say, is Roy Hodgson 45 minutes away from the sack? And to be honest with you, I thought he would be, and I said this is the biggest 45 minutes of his reign. Because in 7 previous games, he's only won 2 tournament matches, and then we're both in Euro 2012. The rest of them have been either draws or defeats. The last World Cup, there were 2-1 defeats to Italy and Uruguay. The Uruguay game hurt more than the Italy game, because we let a 70% Luis Suarez terrorise our defence, which was an embarrassment, to be honest with you. And then we managed a feeble 0-0 draw against Costa Rica in a match in the end that didn't really matter, but it should have done, really. He didn't restore any pride. We're coming to this on the back of 10 wins out of 10 in the qualifiers. People saying that's impressive. Well, I don't think it's that impressive. It's expected. I think, against the opposition, we were handed quite a Mickey Mouse group, to be fair. I think there was only Switzerland who would have probably posed as any threat, and we took care of them, no problem. But the rest of the teams, I didn't rate that highly anyway, and we usually we won usually 2 or 3-0, so in each and every game. So there we go. Having said that, though, I thought the game was. I thought the second half comeback was an excellent game, and I don't think it's going to be any inquest now. I think they decided, right, we'll put Sturridge on, we'll put Vardy on. The whole the nations wanted Jamie Vardy to play right when the word go. I don't, I know he's got the Arsenal on-off transfer saga. Is he leaving Leicester? Is he staying at Leicester? Is he going to Arsenal? Is he not going to Arsenal? He's got all that saga to look out for, but he put that, to be fair to Vardy, he put that towards the back of his mind, concentrated on the job in hand with England. Great cross into the penalty box, and it came in. It came off Williams' head. It looked from first glance as if Vardy was offside, but when you look at it from the replay, it's Ashley Williams who nods the ball back. So even though Vardy might look as if he's standing in an offside position, he's actually onside because Ashley Williams has touched the ball back inadvertently, and that has automatically played Jamie Vardy onside. So we're level, we're back in the game. To be fair, Wales huffed and puffed, and they were they worked hard. They had a couple of chances as well. You know, Bale's always going to be a threat. Ramsey ran around like he did in the first game as a man possessed, and then I thought the game was going to peter out into a 1-1 draw. And then there was an injury to Joe Ludley, which seemed to take an age, but it probably wasn't that. And it took 3 minutes of time added on. I was hoping for 4 or 5, to be honest with you, but 3 in fact in the end turned out to be enough, because in the second minute of time added on, Sturridge, who actually, to be fair to him, considering he came into the squad out of form and all that, he burst his way through, played a 1-2, and he just poked the ball with his right foot past Tennessee and into the net, and cue joy and relief. And certainly this guy here who commentated on the game yesterday, oh my word, oh my days, it was just one of those moments, and that could kickstart England's Euros. That second half, that's the England that we know we can play. That's the England, that's the form of what we show in the qualifiers and the friendly games that we've played up until now. That was the sort of form we showed against Germany in the second half in Berlin 2-3 months ago. That really was, and I was really pleased and delighted. You know, I'm not Roy Hodgson's biggest fan. I'm certainly one of his big critics, but to be fair, I'm going to give him a lot of praise there. I mean, you know, we've accused him for being too conservative. He knew that his job was on the line. He knew he had to go for it. He knew he had to bring on attacking changes, and to be fair to Roy, he did just that. And well done, Roy Hodgson. You probably won a few friends back on for that display, and hopefully you'll do the same against the Slovaks, get another 3 points and get us safely into the second round, where we might get a much better draw. As for Wales, they shouldn't be downhearted. They played very well yesterday, and I think they'll also qualify. I think they'll beat Russia in that last game. I think, well, certainly they'll get something from Russia in the last game, and I think they'll be more than enough to qualify them through to the second round. Now we're going to move on, because we're going to change tack now. We're going to go and look at Northern Ireland. What a result for them yesterday. I actually backed them to win on my Facebook predictor, my friend's Facebook predictor. I went for 2-1. Well, they did better than that. They kept a clean sheet. They were fantastic. From the old 1-11, they were superb against the Ukrainian side, who actually played well in the first match I covered against Germany, and I thought they'd be affecting the tournament. I mean, seeing them against Germany, they were unlucky to come out on the wrong side of a 2-0 loss in that first game. But I feared for Northern Ireland, but I wanted them to do well, because they're a small nation. It's their first tournament for almost 30 years, and this is probably their best ever win since Jerry Armstrong put the Spanish to the sword 34 years ago. First half, it was Michael O'Neill went more attacking this time. He put on Jamie Ward. He really went for the jugular. He had to, really, considering he was very defensive in the first match, which they lost to Poland. But in the second half, they really battled. They got a free kick on the left-hand side. It was floated in. And Gareth McCauley, he's 36 years old. 36 years old, don't forget. Free header, right in the corner. Cue pandemonium from the Green and White Army behind the goals, because Gareth McCauley, and then not long after that, there was a bit of a. There were all the elements yesterday. They had sun, sleet, hail, rain. They had they had the lot, and the players had to be forced off because of these big hailstones that came down. I'd seen it on the TV. These hailstones, they're basically like rocks. It looked like rocks, ice rocks to me. They came off for about 3 minutes and came out again. The onslaught was there from Ukraine. To be fair, they did play quite well. They were unlucky. They missed several key opportunities, and then the second minute of stoppage time, Northern Ireland really made sure of a famous victory when they were keeping possession on the right. The ball got crossed in. Goalkeeper saved the first step, and McGinn of Aberdeen tapped in the rebound. And what a result that is! And not only that, it will help their goal difference. It's now in the plus column. It's +1 goal difference. But they know they can score goals. Obviously, they've got to play the Germans in the last game, which might suit them down to I think they could get a point from Germany. I mean, Germany haven't really fired on every cylinder at the moment in the championships, but we'll touch on that in a moment or two. But a great result for Michael O'Neill's men. Tremendous result, and considering that the 4 best third place finishes that go through the second round, Northern Ireland are more than giving themselves a realistic chance of qualifying for the second knockout phase. And if they do qualify for that as a third place team or whatever, or even higher than that, then I think they've more than deserved it. That result was a superb result, great for the country. You know, it's probably their best result in tournament football since Spain '82, when they beat the Styles 1-0 through Jerry Armstrong and had to soak up a lot of pressure with 10 men. So a tremendous result for Northern Ireland. Well done to Michael O'Neill. Well done to the Northern Irish. Very deserved, and in my opinion, the result of the Euro so far. And finally, we've got to touch on the Germans. The 0-0 draw yesterday. In the Stade de France. It's not like the Germans are not scoring international. They usually score in every game they play in. They were very off colour against the Poles, who are of course local rivals, and they come off the back of a 1-0 win against Northern Ireland. But to be fair, Poland could have won it themselves. I mean, Robert Lewandowski, who plays for Bayern Munich, ironically had a chance. You know, it was just one of those games. Both teams had chances. It weren't the greatest game, and the Germans, really the world champs, who are certainly in amongst the top 3 favourites to win the tournament. Well, they haven't really got it together really in this tournament. I mean, they show flashes against Ukraine. I've got to be honest, they did show a lot of flashes against the Ukraine, but they didn't show much else really other than what we saw the other night yesterday. So far, I'm a little bit disappointed. Of course, it's early stages of the tournament, and you know they've got 4 points, but I don't think they've started well enough, in my opinion, in terms of performance. I mean, sometimes these early games aren't just about performances; it's about getting out the group. I think Germany will do enough to qualify. By the way, I can't see them not qualifying from that group. But the Poles, I mean, it's a great result really in theory for Northern Ireland, because it means they keep on the coattails of these two, both Germany and Poland. I mean, if they can sneak a draw Northern Ireland against the Germans next week, why not? I mean, I can see 3 teams qualifying from that group. I really can. Germany, Poland, and Northern Ireland. As far as Ukraine concerned, they've had it. There you go. And that was my review on the action yesterday. Well done to England and well done to Northern Ireland. Hard luck Wales, but I'm sure all 3 home nations surely will qualify, and hopefully the Republic can do themselves justice. Also, I hope Italy and Spain win their games today as well. Italy play in the early game, and Spain take on Turkey in their match tonight. So hopefully they'll be both. And hopefully the Italians and the Spanish will be celebrating like crazy tonight. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed the review, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. My Twitter address, of course, if you need it, is at Stutzy83. Thank you very much for listening, watching to the review, and we'll see you for some more commentaries and some more reviews as the tournament goes on. And if any Burnley news comes up, Burnley fans, we will bring it to you on my YouTube channel. Until then, take care, and I'll see you later. Take care. Bye bye.